Lady back with another video, and this is the review of the Bobby Debarge story. It aired on Saturday, June 29th at TV1, and there was a lot of high expectations. I don't know if I can say high expectations, but a lot of people wanted to watch it really based on seeing the Debarge unsung, seeing the group switch unsung, and just knowing the torture and the torment and the issues of drugs that affected the Debarge. So there was a lot of anticipation for this. Actually, I was coming in with the thought of BET level, but yeah. So how it started off, they started the story with him being in the group switch and they're coming to an end. I thought they would have started the story where he was a kid, the abuse that they endured, and he emerged from teenage years to the point where he got into the music industry and got involved with the drugs. So that was an issue that I had off the cuff because we all know, if you watched the Unsongs and heard their stories, that Bobby was the one that got out into the music industry along with his brother, I believe, Tommy. They were the ones to venture out. They got to play with Barry White in his band, and it's during that time that Bobby got on drugs. And when they was getting ready to put together the group Switch, they told Bobby in order to be in the group, he would have to get off drugs. So, or Motown wouldn't deal with them. But Bobby, he worked, he cleaned himself up, he got off the drugs to get into the group Switch. But once they took off and got back popular, Bobby got on drugs again. So it didn't even talk about none of that in the story. It was just how he was getting out the group Switch and how the group Debarge was forming. I had issues with the casting because these people did not look nothing like these people. Lloyd, the singer Lloyd, they had him playing a dude from Switch. They don't look none alike. They had Big Boy playing Barry Gorey. Are you serious? They probably could have had said the entertainment, as somebody said. The wigs was horrible. The horrible. And you have to understand that the Barge were mixed kids. Their mother was black, their mom's black, their dad's white. So they had a different texture of hair, as people were saying. So they had probably a hard time trying to emulate that because that's a different mix of hair that you probably can't do. But I thought they could have did some better costuming. I thought they could do some better hair. And I think the only person here they got right was the guy that was that supposed to been James Ingram's brother in the group Switch, because he had the feather wrap and all that stuff. I know they weren't calling it a wrap, but he had the long pressed and bouncy hair. I think that was the only thing they got right when it came to the hair. So it was more about Bobby getting, messing up and trying to go solo, and that's not working out, and the bar just doing their thing, and Bobby didn't even get his damn album off the ground because he was too, into the drugs, and then when he would show up to do work, he was high. They did also kind of touch on his relationship that he had with him and Latoya Jackson. They claimed that I Call Your Name, I believe I Call Your Name is supposed to be about Latoya Jackson. And then Bobby Debarge actually introduced his brother, James, to Janet. And James and Janet actually ended up together and got married. I was married for about a year. Rumor has it that they probably broke up based on his drug addictions, because he was living in Jackson's mansion and everything. So, but they really believe drugs was a factor that hindered their relationship. So they did touch base on that. A lot of people felt like they left a lot out, and that the story went too quick. And I agree, because it went from not into Switch to trying to get a deal. Then here's Debarge. Then they kept flashing back, and I wish they would have went ahead and just told the story about them as kids. They kept flashing back of how Bobby would have a dress on, and his dad, would call him, sissy and all that. And YouTube, that's just me expressing what these fools shooting damn fireworks. It ain't even the fourth yet. They've been shooting fireworks. So he was doing, they was flashing back to showing him in a dress, flashing back to how they daddy was touching on Bonnie inappropriately, and then how Bobby and James was beefing as they was younger, and how that affect them as they went, older. I agree with them using old boy from Greenleaf. I thought, because he's talented, he can sing, he actually had the look. I just wish they would have did a better job with the hair, but he actually had, the Bobby Debarge. He could pull it off. That's the only thing I think they got right, is his look, not necessarily the hair, but his look, and he could sing, and he was talented. So yeah, I think that's the only part that they got right, because I think there's some loopholes in the story, because it goes from, they're taking him out the music industry completely, and then him and Chico sells drugs, which that was true. They didn't really feed into it. It just showed that they was doing a big drop or somewhere out of town, and that Chico got busted, and they both ended up in jail. But they didn't show Chico going to jail. They just showed Bobby is in jail, and then apparently Bobby gets jumped by, some other inmates, and he's been coughing. So the doctor wanted to check it out and discovered that the coughing is due to him having being HIV. So what they said fell short in this, what the real story that they did not put into the story is that they believe Bobby got HIV. It's two ways, because I'm hearing that they're saying it was from the drug use, but they claim that he only snort drugs and did he only snort cocaine and did freebase. But then when I went back and watched Unsung, they said it was I can't say it properly, a heroin addiction using needles. But then again, they were saying in the Unsung of Switch that Bobby was homosexual. Well, not homosexual, he was bisexual. He dabbled with men and women, but somehow they didn't put that into the story. So they were saying, if you were out there in the late 80s, early 90s, that's when HIV and AIDS was really prevalent. So they were saying, did he really get AIDS from the drugs? Or did he get AIDS because he was promiscuous? And then they were saying, okay, if he got HIV that led to AIDS, he ended up having a whole wife during that time who had 2 sons, and none of them got it. Because it's the same way as Magic. How Magic had AIDS, but Cookie didn't have AIDS, and the kids didn't have AIDS. I mean, the son, I know they ended up adopting a daughter. That's not their biological child, but the son, he was born, they didn't have it. So it's interesting that they left that part out. But it was really cut. That's what I would say. It was cut. I thought they were really focused more on the torment of the childhood. The more, they just showed him doing drugs, but they never got to show the point what led him to get on the drugs. Was it just being in the industry and somebody introduced him, or was it the fact that he was going through all this drama that was never addressed, and he got on the drugs? And then even they had the mother show, the relationship with the mom, which they had was the lady who played the mom for the Bobby the Bar stories is actually Ricky and Doughboy's mom from Boys in the Hood. So they had, that was that mom. She's a little older from that picture. Rest in peace, John Singleton, because that came out, 25 plus years ago. But yeah, so they had her playing the mom, and she was just saying how, it was a lot going on with your dad. He lost jobs, he didn't have opportunities, and it was a lot to raise, 10 kids, and where she would leave and come back because, who's going to take somebody in with 10 kids? Even on song, she said that was a thing, who would take in somebody with 10 kids? Family would do that if they had to. If it meant safety for you and your kid, I think a family member could have done that. But because a lot of their issues were not addressed properly, it hindered them in their adulthood, which led to the drug abuse. Because even in the song, they was just saying they were really destined for greatness. They would have been like a group that had many more albums to surpass of them. They had a lot more music they could have gave and contribute to the music industry. And I don't know where they're at currently. Are they trying to bounce back or whatnot? And they just showed the movie, because they start off the movie with Bobby's in the hospital dying from AIDS, and his dad comes to see him. And then that's how they start the picture, because they were saying that Bobby was actually on oxygen. He was on his last leg, and nurses was telling him, doctors were telling him to go and let go, but he was holding on. And they said it was something, whatever their dad came and said something to him. After that, I guess he made peace and he died. So they talk about that in Unsung too. And I'm sorry I'm making references back between this and Unsung, but Unsung had a lot more detail than this movie did. So that's how they ended the movie, with him singing. He had got out. He went to jail, did about 5 or 6 years, got out. He was with his family for 2 years. And that's when he died. So they ended the movie with him singing, and then they, show him dying in the hospital. So that was pretty much it. I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was. I think BET should have took that damn story. BET should have took it, made it like a Bobby Brown situation or a New Edition, turned it into Too Nice, because they could have had day one would have been like from kid to all the way up to Switch, him getting into Switch. And then day two could have been a pickup from when he dropped off to Switch till, or got into Switch. And then part two could have been him being in Switch to his demise, to the death. I think they could have did that, because like I said, we were looking more for the childhood. We was looking more for the issues of childhood, the teenage years, the years where he was with Barry White, and how he eventually got into the music industry. But yeah, I mean, we're going to support it. I don't know, because a lot of people say they don't think TV One do an awesome job with biopics, because, I think Mickey Howard's biopic was better than Bobby Debarge biopic. But they did say that Bobby Debarge's wife was the executive producer. So they think that because she was over it or oversaw it, she chose to leave things out, or just things she didn't want to believe, which that when it came to that bisexual thing, she probably didn't want to believe that or bring that to the light of day. So they felt that she didn't really give it the story it needs to have been gotten. But yeah, I wish whoever wrote the New Edition story and wrote the Bobby Brown story, they need to have wrote the Bobby Debarge story, because I think this was all over the place. That's why my review is all over the place. But you're welcome to check it out. It's on TV One. I think they're going to show it. They've been showing encores all this weekend. I think they're going to show another encore presentation of it on Tuesday. But yeah, that is it. That is all. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. Peace out.